Oops, accidentally alt-tabbed out of the game. So, do I actually know how old she was? I love this. Oh, and Matthew too. I almost forgot about him. How telling. Let's see here. What would Sophia's birthday be? Does Charles talk about it? I really don't think he does. Yeah, maybe I don't think Dorothy says anything about it either. Newly hired maid. She's his cousin. Do I know his birthday? Matthew's birthday? I really don't think so. Hmm, 75. Can assume she was at least 18. She definitely wasn't. I wouldn't want to go up further than that. 23. I know that this is not what I'm supposed to be doing, but I obviously am impatient. Okay, well maybe I don't have it. What? March 18th. What would her birthday be? March 18th. That would have made her 20. Yeah. Come on, brain. Surely there's something in here. Hmm. Is there something else in hers? The way everybody talks about her is like she's barely 18. Okay, maybe that's not the date. It's frustrating, because I feel like that should definitely be what it is, but here I am basically trying to break it open, so... Alright, let me... What have we got in our inventory here? We need to go unlock Vivian's desk. And barring any, like, just fantastic leads, I will, cut it out for today. It feels kind of weird that we haven't learned anything about Mary Martinez, really. But she's still alive, at least, or was alive at least 2 years ago when she hired the, this fella, Steve Moss. And she may have been alive enough to just kind of clean up her own messes, I guess. So he was murdered right outside of here? We have gotten... Okay, so earlier I was going through questions that we have still outstanding. And at the time, how did Trisha die was one of them. We figured that out. How did Scott die? We figured that out. We found out kind of what happened to Derek, at this moment at least, that he's left. But what happened to Bernard? Is the question. Part of the reason I have to stop playing is because it is freezing cold in my house. Because we're under 1.5 feet of snow. And American infrastructure is what it is. So everybody has to be incredibly chilly, so that people who have breathing problems can get their oxygen. And continue to live. So, yep, here we go. Nope. Vivian Roberts. Okay, this is Vivian Roberts' diary from '95, the year she died. So let's see what she thinks. January 2nd, 1995. Although we live in the same house, Charles and I hardly speak to each other. I know that he's been feeling guilty ever since his affair, but that was 20 years ago. It's high time I forgive him out loud. Next, I need to work things out with Trisha. I've been objecting to her relationship with Scott for quite some time. In doing so, Trisha has been avoiding me. I haven't been a good mother, but I want to be there whenever she needs me from now on, I guess. I just want things to go back to the way they were. January 12th, 1995. The agency has arranged for a new guy to help me. His name is Owen Smith, quite a young man for what he has accomplished. During our meeting, Owen asked me many things, as if he was interviewing me. The brief introduction turned out to be hours long. By the end of it, he said everything he needed. He said he has everything he needed, and he will get things moving right away. I have a good feeling about him. Okay, so January 2nd, the day after New Year's, she's feeling reflective, and she is thinking about how badly she's treated Charles, and thinks, okay, I need to forgive him, and also I need to repair my relationship with Trisha. 10 days later, she meets this guy, Owen Smith, who is saying everything that she wants to hear, and I think we can guess who the affair was with. May 12th, 1995, Owen called to meet with me today. He had the papers ready for me to sign. He said that the location of the exhibition has been approved. All we need is the down payment. That's great. I signed the papers almost immediately. After that, I informed our accountant, Helen, to transfer the money from the Roberts Relief Funds, since the hospital won't be needing it for a while. Owen's been a great help since we brought up the idea of an art gallery for the public. I'm not sure if things could have gone so quickly if it had been some other agent. I owe him that much. This was the thing that Oliver took pictures of, which we didn't see when I was there. And that's what I was expecting. June 17th, 1995. I'm trying to remember who had died around this time. The art gallery will open in 3 months. I'm so excited about it. We have received most of the artwork from the contributors and artists. All I need to ask Charles if he would be willing to donate some of his paintings. If this exhibition succeeds, it will be good for us and for Painscreek. I haven't felt this alive in a very long time. I have a purpose now. Okay. So I guess the next thing I need to do is just patrol the streets of Painscreek, looking for a grate to unscrew. Although I think that I have one of Scott's maps will actually help me with that. Because he had stuff marked everywhere to do. Let me look at that map real quick, actually. No, not the sewer map. A different map. This map. I found the grate here. Maybe I should look out for... Okay, so while I'm just gonna start walking, and then kind of talk out what we found out today. Well, what is for me today. I don't know how I'll end up uploading these things. But, so we learned, actually, quite a bit. So the, one of the major, kind of noteworthy discoveries is that Bernard is some sort of, has some sort of psychosis. And or had some sort of psychosis, and that he knew about Vivian's affair with this other feller, Owen Smith, and that he was incredibly jealous. We know that he was also a hunter. We know that there is an axe missing in his house. And maybe that accounts for the bleeding, although I'm not sure how that could account for the lacerations per se, unless, I mean, I feel like for them to be called lacerations and not cuts or gashes or something like that, then it probably wasn't an axe, but who can even tell? So, what else did we learn? Derek actually could have conclusively provided an alibi for his friend, Scott, his supposed friend, Scott, but he didn't. And he didn't because he was hoping that it would take him out of the running for Trisha's affection. Hello? Church keys. The basement, maybe? Or could it be the rest of the cemetery? Dang. Okay. So in the church, which that might be like the basement. I really want to figure out what's going on with Matthew, so I'm fine with going to check that out while I keep chatting. Chatting out our discoveries for today. So, what else did we find out? So Derek had the information to had the information that basically would have made Scott's alibi check out. He didn't give it. And then, as a more or less direct result, a series of events happened that ultimately destroyed these people that he ostensibly loved. Yeah, there's not actually a door handle in that, so where I'm not remembering where there are locked doors here. What else did we learn? So I talked about Bernard, I talked about Derek. We also learned that Matthew had intimate feelings for Sophia, even as a priest, and actually arranged for her to essentially be his mistress, because he wanted her to be put up, he wanted her to be close, he wanted to be able to see her all the time, even though he wasn't making a move, and it didn't seem like he was interested in giving up his pastoral duties. Sophia says that she felt like he used her as a way to escape his responsibilities with the church. Well, oh, maybe it's the one on the outside. There is one out here. But like, Matthew wanted the best of both, and I just find it really strange that he just assumed that Sophia had left. That I mean, do we have a diary from him around the time that he brought... No, we don't have anything from him about why he made those choices. Like, is there no way to unlock it? Huh. Hmm. So, in those three men's stories, I don't know how much I can trust what's going on with Derek, or the kind of narrative the game's giving me about Derek, to understand whether or not... I have no idea why I went back in. I think I was going to try the code again, but I don't have any more information since the last time I tried it. But anyway, like, there are still questions about what happened with his mother. The way that he talked about his mother was very, very strange. Or, like, in this context, was a lot of strange wording happening. I'm looking for more grates. Having to remind myself. I think they're only on the street, so... like, where the sewer is. Let's try it this way. Regarding Bernard, I need to know what happened to that guy. Need to get some eyeballs on his current location. And, or what happened to him, after Vivian's death. Because, like, right now, I don't remember if I got the achievement for Bernard's diaries. Oh, I need to go to the sheriff's office, so let's go do that. Maybe they'll give us some more answers. Clover, okay. Let me just check and see if there are any grates here. So Bernard is the most obvious suspect currently. But obvious is exactly what this little game is trying to undermine. So I don't want to hang on to that and not see whatever else is going on. I'm not sure if there are more grates, but we'll keep looking later. Keep an eye out as we go. I mean, the curveball would be if it, it was a woman for some reason. Like, what if Dorothy got so angry at what happened to Trisha? Or not, well, yeah, before the murder per se. Yeah, just really inconsistent. Oh, I should have done the thing in the gallery. I'll go back and do that. Classified, no longer. May 13th, 1997. The crack in Vivian's skull shows that the weapon used is an object with a heavy and sharp end. Something like an axe would fit the description. Okay, well, alright. That's Bernard. At least that's where the evidence points. To cause a crack that big, the attacker must be rather strong. I'm assuming it's either a man or a strong woman who's experienced in the use of the weapon. Do we know any lumberjills? No. We don't. The victim must have been facing the attacker because of the lacerations found on the front of her torso, as well as the back side of both forearms, showing that she tried to block the attacks by holding up her arms. The fatal strike landed on the right side of the victim's head, just above her right eyebrows. This clarifies the following: that the victim was facing the killer, that the killer is strong enough to land such a clean but deadly blow, and that the killer is left-handed. Okay, so, we know that Bernard is left-handed. Since the murder weapon was never recovered and confirmed, my assumption of it being an axe still remains. Since this is me doing you a solid, do not, under any circumstances, leak this information or I'll be in big trouble. The guys here in Grand City don't want anyone more than necessary to know about these details. Hope the above information helps. Sean Smith. Like, how many Smiths are there? Vivian Roberts murder case, record of alibi. Interview record, July 25th, 1995. Interview to Charles Roberts. I wasn't here when my wife was killed. I left for New York on July 18th to attend a conference meeting that was supposed to last for 3 days. I was supposed to be back on the weekend. On the morning of July 20th, however, I received a phone call from our butler, Bernard, informing me that Vivian had been murdered. I could not believe what I heard. I cut short my trip and immediately came back to Painscreek. The morning of July 20th. Okay, well, what time? July 25th, 1995, interview of Matthew Brooks. There's an annual religious gathering in Hartford where pastors from different churches in our state's vicinity meet and discuss what we can do to help our society. The event started... Okay, see, they're calling him a pastor here, so I don't know if he had, like, a vow of chastity or whatever. Different churches in our state's vicinity to meet and discuss what we can do to help our society. The event started July 18th and ran for 5 days, so it ended on July 23rd. I represent Painscreek Trinity Church at the event. Our church can confirm this because we had to cancel our Sunday service that week. Yep, well, we know that they canceled service at one point, but... Okay, Bernard. I was preparing for the fundraising event when I felt sick. However, there was no one who could really do my job, so I kept working. At about 9 in the evening, I was too sick to continue, so I bid Vivian goodnight and headed back home. Dorothy Patterson saw me leave. No, there's no one else that lives there. I live alone. Dorothy Patterson. Yes, Bernard was not feeling well that day, so he left slightly earlier than usual. However, he finished his work before he left. When I saw how sick he appeared, I wondered how he could possibly have kept on working. Well, I guess that's why the Roberts family trusts him so much. Me, I was around the mansion most of the time, either preparing the food or making sure that the other maids were doing their jobs. The fundraising event, which was to be held the following day, was important to Vivian, so we were all making sure that everything would be perfect. By the time Mary left, it was already past midnight. I locked the doors and then I went home myself. No, I live alone. Mary Martinez. My name is Mary Martinez. I had been working in the kitchen for the past few days for the upcoming fundraising event. Jimmy's Bakery was supposed to deliver the cakes, but a few days before the event, they called to inform us that they can't make it. Suddenly, I was in charge of the cakes. I was so mad because we didn't have much time, and this event was supposed to be extremely crucial for Vivian's business. But after hearing that Vivian was murdered, all my anger and work just sort of became irrelevant. I don't know that there's any significance to the Jimmy's Bakery thing, but July 25th, Derek Tyler. All of these have been on the same day. I remember dropping Mr. Roberts off at the airport on July 18th at around 2 p.m. I was supposed to come back after that to drive around for Vivian, but she told me to take a break since I haven't had a day off for quite some time. I decided to visit a friend of mine who was moving upstate to West Dakota. What sort of friend? An elementary school buddy that used to live here, but then he moved to receive a scholarship. I stayed at his place for a few days before coming back to Painscreek. Yes, he can vouch for me. I gave his number at home. I can give it to you later. Derek never gave me that number, is the note here. Well, we know why, because that's not what happened, but being a bad friend, what is this? Lost and found. So all of the cars have... Is that a whistle? Some glasses? A toy truck? What is going on with the kids that disappeared? Is that just like... It doesn't matter? Or like... Is Bernard a serial killer? What's going on here? Okay, what have I got in my inventory? A Marverick model. Maybe it's Marverich. Maybe it's Eastern European. So again, yeah, we know that car keys go in glove compartments. So and that there's really only one glove compartment that matters to us right now, and that is closed for good. I missed one on my way down. Terrible detective. Which is unsurprising. I find it hard to believe that nobody would... March 3rd, his left wrist was swollen pretty badly. He claimed he fell during rock climbing and twisted his left hand. Let's look at our diaries from Bernard. All of his stuff says Hopkins, but this says Hopkins. March 2nd. Oh, that's 1994. Hmm. Did anything happen to anybody else on March 3rd? Like, maybe Bernard does have, like, a streak here. Well, we can keep going. That's not entirely important at the moment. I mean, not a good sign. Also, is that a child's handprint? Or does he just have tiny hands? Stop glitching on me. Ooh! Okay, so there are lots of lockboxes under the counter. Oh wow, I found every key in the game? Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Alright. Okay. My head hurts, my tire's flat, and the phone's not working. Is someone trying to stop me from leaving Painscreek? Am I close to discovering something? Oh god, I thought he was the one. I was wrong. He's not the killer. He's not. Oh, okay. Hmm. Kind of humorous that he took a moment to write down his terror, but I mean it's a little bit cheap that he didn't write down his name. But okay. The church. Well, okay, yeah, that's a major revelation. We should go look that up. He's on to me and I had to hide the key in one of the drains by the roadside. He will never find. 5/19/97. Ever since I received the messages in the key, I've been following this anonymous person blindly. What a fool I have been. I need to revisit my investigation notes and see if I might have missed anything important. May 21st, 1997. I looked through the alibis recorded by Sheriff Howard. There were 6 interviews: Charles, Matthew, Bernard, Dorothy, Mary, and Derek. Then I noticed it. One of them is lying. It was recorded that there was an event, yet I remember somewhere about it being cancelled. Where did I read it again? I can't seem to remember. Oh my god, I've just realized that the E in all of the killer's messages is slightly off in comparison to all the other letters. If I can find that typewriter, I can find who killed Vivian. What did I say? I'm so good. Okay, well, that's all of Steve Moss. Besides his body. Um... Let me look at those alibis again and see if I can see what he saw. Okay, so everybody's on board with yeah, there was going to be a fundraising event. Where did we see that Matthew wasn't feeling well? Yeah, how can Vivian be dead? Who said? Events canceled. Okay. There we go. Okay, yeah. So, I've been going back and forth on Matthew. And I wonder if I think he definitely had the capacity to murder. But okay, I need to check on something here. So, here's the question about Matthew Brooks. And it would be with Scott. Picked me up from the orphanage today. He said I will be staying with him for now and that I can call him Dad if that's okay with me. On Monday, he wanted me to sign something. He says that after the signing, my name is not just Scott, but Scott Brooks. I am so glad to now have a home. So, how did Matthew know that Scott, like, why did he pick up Scott? We know that Father Calvin brought him to the orphanage, but why did Scott go get him? Or why did Matthew go get him? Do we know that? I don't feel like we know that. Looking for some greats. Just hunting for greats. I also find it incredibly weird. Well, maybe it's actually in keeping. That they, didn't take advantage of the sewer and the opportunity it provided for them to kill me dead with a scare. I guess they wanted me to live long enough to get to the end of the game. Okay. Thanks, Steve, for pointing us in the right direction on this Matthew deal. No, it was in the other room, I think. Yeah. Wow. He was after me, so I had to hide the key. Isn't that what he said? Oh boy. Okay. What's creepier than a church attic? Oh dear. Someone came to Painscreek she cannot know. There's that offset E. Oh boy. So, ah. So that means that Matthew's still here. Dearest Matthew, I'm writing you this letter to let you know what happened to Sophia. In 1984. My days are almost up, and I feel you have the right to know what happened 9 years ago. In 1974, when Vivian Roberts underwent a C-section to deliver Tricia, she was told that she could not give birth anymore. Vivian broke down mentally and was hospitalized. Sophia was tasked with taking care of the newly born Tricia and helping Charles Roberts. Charles, who was facing a lot of difficulty and pressure, unfortunately found comfort in Sophia. They had an affair. A boy was born. A few months later, Vivian found out about the relationship. She was furious. Feeling threatened by the illegitimate boy, Vivian kicked Sophia and the baby out of Painscreek. Everyone believed that. But the truth is, I took the boy and put him in St. Patrick's orphanage. I named him Scott. Time flies. He's going to be 10 soon. I pray that you can bear the responsibility of raising him. He does not need to know about his real parents. It's all in the past. Instead, give him a new start. And sincerely hope that you can forgive me for hiding this from you for so long. April 12th, 1975. It's been more than 2 years since I started to work at the mansion. I like this place a lot. The people here are nice to me. Thank you for your letter. Although I cannot be there with you for your missionary work, I pray for your success. You were always the noble one. Do you remember the wishes we made when we were at the orphanage? Yours was to help the unfortunate. Mine was not to be poor. While I did not expect opportunity to knock so soon, maybe heaven is helping me. With all that has happened these past few months, my wish just might come true. Might just come true. I'd love to tell you more about it, but it can wait until you're back. Things might be different by then. I hope it will be for the better. Love always, Sophia.
June 6th, 1995. I met Andrew in the evening at his house. He was hallucinating when we met, saying that he's seen Sophia everywhere, that he's a sinner, and that he should die. But I didn't mean to kill him. My hands are still shaking. June 30th, 1995. Dr. Johnson came. He was surprised to see me. He tried to justify, saying it wasn't his fault, that he was only caring and had nothing to do with Sophia's death. When I revealed the truth about Magdalene, his face turned white. He didn't expect anyone to know the truth. He deserved to die. July 19, 1995. Just like the doctor, Vivian came alone. Instead of feeling guilty, she called Sophia a bitch who destroyed everything she had. I didn't feel any sign of remorse, feeling of guilt, or repentance from her at all. So I gave her time to express herself, and then I killed her. It's all over now. Why am I not at peace? There's this nosy investigator in town. I thought that if I led him to believe that Bernard killed Vivian, he just might believe it. But I made the mistake of trying to mislead him. Now he's suspecting me of being the killer. He has to die.
Oh God. 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 Oh shit. Oh my God. Ah! What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Shit! Oh my God. What do I do? Just run? Okay, sure. No problem. We'll run. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Whew. Oh, frick. Oh man. This is the wrong time. For the camera to get all jittery on me. Oh God. Okay. Where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go? Oh, my heart. Ah! Okay. Ah! Okay. Yep, thanks. Thanks, person. I will leave now. Thank you. Oh my God. Oh, this is awful. This is awful. Oh my God. What do I do? Where do I go? 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 To my car. I have to get out of here. Okay. Ah, God. He's right behind me. Thank you, Sophia. I'm guessing that's who you are. Thank you. So back to PCH. Oh my God. That all this time I've been scared of a ghost, and it was actually people that I need to be terrified of. I need to. Oh my God, it's locked here too. What the frick? Oh, to the roof? Maybe? Someone could fall and die. Oh, come here, Matthew. well. Hmm. What's default photo of me, though? Hmm. 93% complete. Is there a list of what I didn't find? Apparently Steve Moss being one of those things. Okay. Well, I wasn't actually expecting to complete this on this playthrough. I thought I was going to have to do at least another hour. And probably should if I want to find the rest of the things that I need to find. But, some initial thoughts. Some really interesting twists, and I think maybe it's hard to call them twists when it's literally about the order in which you find the clues. But there was definitely pacing. I definitely couldn't cut ahead to the end. But what an interestingly paced game. I did keep wondering with some of the, there are some mistakes in the game. Like we can honestly say mistakes, like the typos, um, and I think that there are dates that don't quite line up. That said, well, I mean, the reason why that matters, right, is that this is a game that required you to read everything incredibly closely. So, to catch on to these little details. And while some of the details themselves were right, some of the details were also, like, not well considered. Um, so I, uh, so I'll put aside those things, and how they kind of created some frustrations. I'll also put aside the ways in which my own misreading of the game may have contributed to the frustrations I had with it. So, examples of those would be thinking that I had the answer to puzzles that I didn't, or um, not thinking creatively enough about what the possibilities were. But I think in general, generally speaking, I assume that this was a game that was limited in terms of environment, in terms of just game design in general, um, and that with those resources, what could those game designers do? Um, so pulling back and making sure not to say more than or to uh, um, pulling back and trying not to accuse the game of doing things that weren't its intention, and just trying to examine the game on the basis of what am I looking for? Good experiences, interesting time, new ways of using limited resources. In general, that's something that I'm curious about when it comes to how sustainability works. Um, so, how do we do more with less? And, it's conceivable in my life that, I'll never have kind of the next big gaming rig when it comes to my computer. I may never even buy a console again. I'm just not so interested in the big flashy stuff anymore. Um, Especially with all of the kind of exploitation that goes into that. So, if I'm going to be turning my gaze towards things that are more, more about what can we do with what we have, Painscreek offers a really intriguing and hopeful example to me of how simple environment, when used intentionally, right? Like looking at any of the places where people lived, that those places reflected their personalities. Dorothy's reflected her personality. It was cute. It was um, nurturing. It was like it had a nurturing ambiance to it, and um, the um, or Bernard's being kind of dark, and even the rooms that were locked kind of revealed things about them, um, about what they held behind those doors and what they considered their dark secrets. Bernard being a person who was always trying to project confidence and competence and was always trying to prove something to Vivian. Well, he would obviously hide um, the he would hide the parts of himself that he felt would in danger. That he needed drugs to be even able to be around Vivian at the end. So yeah, I mean, like, even the containers that were locked were symbolic of the places and those people that were locked, and also symbolic of their duplicity. Um, and I think it's interesting that the only things that were really behind closed doors in Dorothy's house was Sophia. And it wasn't necessarily that Sophia was a person that um, that, I mean, like, there was a time that Dorothy literally had to hide Sophia for Charles's sake, but she didn't want to hide Sophia. And Trisha, what was kept in her locked drawers, but basically her love for Scott and her memories with Scott. When we look at the things that were literally buried, including the time capsule, right? So the way that the game used the central conceits of, okay, this is a point and click, like, just bare minimum, that's what it is. And it is, point and click, so you're going to find the clues to all the puzzles. You will be able to find all the clues to the puzzles that you come across, sure. But what, and also the conceit of everybody writes down every one of their most important, innermost intimate thoughts. Those are generally conceits that we can get behind. That's how mysteries work. When we watch mysteries, when there are clues and you follow those clues. So, I think that there's a lot of really awesome potential in really old, even rote ways of figuring these things out. So, I think that it's really promising to just have, like, a really cool, detailed experience in 3D environments that themselves are not that detailed, in using, objects and writing, and the kind of the conceit of the journals. But, like, the thing about the journals is, yes, it's kind of ridiculous to think that there was, like, a town full of people who not only kept all kept journals, but kept them everywhere, right? But the reason why that doesn't really get in the way is because it is about the clues and is about everything that you're reading is telling you more about those people. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing really new going on here. It's very hard to find a game that is 3D rendered, quote unquote, walking simulator-esque, and like investigative detective story. Like, this is the only detective game I've ever played in which I'm not having to engage in dialogue, or I'm not prompted to pick up things in the room. And maybe another set of games that I might try is, like, the Sherlock Holmes investigative series, which I did get on sale. So that might be a next step to just kind of as a comparison. Like, this game came out in 2017. The Sherlock Holmes series has been out at least since the early 2000s or mid 2000s. And then, like, point and clicks have been around forever. So it's really bizarre to me that I can't really think of any other game that does this. Like, it does seem like it's really pared down. It's doing things that other games do. And in a lot of ways, some of those it's doing some of those things that other games do well, a little bit worse. But it's this particular package, I guess. And just the excitement of finding a clue and, maybe not knowing where things go. I did appreciate in the inventory that when you picked up keys, it wasn't obvious where they went. There might be some sort of marking on them, but the keys themselves generally kind of fit the aesthetic of the place where they went. Like, there were details in this that just showed that they cared. And I think that if you were watching the opening videos for this, or the trailer for this, you might make the mistake of thinking that it's just another walking simulator, that it's just another kind of casual experience. And yeah, I mean, I found it really compelling. I also found it interesting that they were able to weave in themes of, what we would now call toxic masculinity, right? Like, this game is about the 90s. The final article was written in 99. This game itself comes out in 2017. So, I saw a lot of what looked like Japanese names in the developer team, but that doesn't, I'm assuming that the idea of toxic masculinity could cross cultures, but otherwise, let's throw that out and let's say that there wasn't kind of a message in that. Then it's actually plausible, I would say, that you could still make a game like this and not know what toxic masculinity is, because the motives of jealous men seeking revenge is old, and that we saw kind of three different phases of it, that we saw in or three different kind of perspectives on it. One of which was Derek. Derek longing for one girl all of his life, never seeing anybody else but her, and only seeing how she was being stolen from him. And in Bernard, a man who wanted to be the first for his employer to for Vivian to sleep with outside of Charles, and being so angry when he wasn't chosen. Like, he had so long, and I think that, not trying to read into it too much, but the idea of him being her servant, like, essentially serving her and worshiping the ground that she walks on, like, his work reinforced his feelings for her, like what he was sacrificing and what he wanted, and what she meant to him. So I think at the end of the day, maybe we still don't know who killed Scott. And we don't know what happened to Steve Moss. Which those are two really big holes in my playthrough. So I'm gonna go ahead and click continue here. Hopefully it doesn't start me out when I'm getting murdered. But we'll see. If it does, I'm exiting right out of it, because I'm not doing that again. Okay, so I'm going to go up to the mansion and do the code, and see what we can find out. But anyway, so um, yeah, I really appreciated this experience in a way that I did not expect when I was going in. Um, and it's kind of funny to say that because I've been talking about this game out loud um, to my friends, and they've all noticed how like bright and engaged and sparkling I get when it is when I'm talking about having played, which is also interesting to think about um, that um, I'm really curious about where he was killed. Scott was, because they said a bush, the bush, and there are multiple bushes along here, so unhelpful newspaper. Um, Maybe take a few extra hours and do some research before you start publishing your paper. Um, I'm also, fine with throwing out like the little kind of um, cheesy details, like the newspaper. Um, so I wonder, what would be possible with a little bit more care put into those aspects of it, and the kind of story that could be told. Um, if I were to go back and listen to the videos that I did before, I definitely talk extensively about the possibility that it's Matthew. Um, and like how that would make sense as sort of a revenge killing for Sophia. Now that I know where the actual scares were, I am no longer afraid. Um, but um, the birthday is 06/01/75, right? Did I mess that up? Uh, Sophia, June 1, 75. Hmm. June 1, 1975. Today at 8:20 a.m. And then uh, 9/1/7. Yeah, I don't know what that's about either. 1/7/9. Hmm. is Vincent's birthday. How could I have not thought about that? Okay, so this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. I had the clue, and then I had to look up what was I getting wrong. Well, I was rendering it incorrectly. It was 6/1/1975, when all the other 6-digit codes have been 06, 01/1975, and yeah, it's realistic that people would render dates in different ways, but I mean, consistency matters. So another journal from him. 4. I know that this is Charles's effects, and I know that there's at least one code of his that we didn't figure out. So, codicil to the last will and testament of Randall Lewis. I, Charles Roberts, being of sound mind, declare this codicil to my last will and testament, dated July 1st, 1975, effective as of today, June 21st, 1975. Should a boy be born into the Roberts family that is of direct lineage to Charles Roberts, if he is the eldest son and no other contest, he shall inherit all of the family's fortune upon Charles Roberts' passing. The sole condition to this is that the son must be at least 25 years of age. What? He was literally going to deed everything just to a firstborn son? Article 6A of my will shall be stricken in its entirety. The firstborn child of the Roberts family shall inherit 50% of all the family's fortune should Charles Roberts pass away. Article 11 shall be added to my will and shall read, Vincent Roberts, born of Charles Roberts and Sophia Miller on June 1st, 1975 in Painscreek, Newland, shall be officially acknowledged as a family member of the Roberts family effective July 1st, 1975? Officially acknowledged? July 31st, 1995. I cannot believe that Scott killed my wife. It's being spewed all over the media. How? Why? He loves Trisha, and I treated him like my own son. It doesn't make any sense. August 13th, 1995. I visited Scott today. I asked him why he would kill Vivian. He did not answer, but simply looked down on the floor. I wanted an answer so desperately that I nearly rattled his neck. Does he even feel any guilt or remorse for what he's done? How can he not say anything? October 22nd, 1995. I visited Scott again today, knowing that he will be released soon. There just wasn't enough evidence to pin him. He looked thinner than before, but I didn't care. I wanted to know why he killed Vivian. When I asked, he stared at me. I was so angry that I yelled at him. I was about to leave when out of nowhere he said, I pity the ignorant. What the hell does that mean? Yeah, I mean, good questions. November 2nd, 1995. I got drunk last night at the inn. Scott is now a free man. I think I babbled about how much I despise Scott and what I would do to have someone get rid of him. Did I really say that? How did I get home anyways? All right, Bernard was with me. He drove me home. So that's what happened. Okay. I guess we maybe had enough to figure that out, but... First National Bank. Love Trish 061174. Study room descant, chess pieces, king, queen, bishop. Okay. So let's take a picture of this. I mean, if we want to trace, where all of this really began. Magdalene wanting a male heir kind of covers it. Okay, KQBK. Bishop is 9. I'm going to write this down real quick. Bishop is 9. Is that a king? I think it's a king. And then rook is 1. No, rook is 7. That's definitely a bishop. That's definitely a king. So this is the queen. Okay. I was not given rook as an option. KQBK. So is this possibly the knight that they mislabeled? Okay, so I'm gonna guess that it's king, queen. King is 4. Queen is 1, I guess. KQB 9, and these are descending. These are in descending kind of rank, I guess. Which makes as much sense as anything. Okay, maybe I got the 4 and the 7 backwards. Or maybe because I actually didn't find a knight, I don't have it right. Why didn't I have this? Okay, knight is that 5? Okay. Knight is 5, pawn 2. Okay, so again in descending rank, let's try it this way. 5. Nope. It could be knight and then king. Here we go. Becker's Investigation Services, 1995. Charles Roberts. They did not die of accidents. We dug deeper. We found out that Andrew and Henry were both related to the disappearance of Sophia Miller and the death of Magdalene Roberts 20 years ago. What really happened to Sophia, we do not know as of now. However, some evidence was brought to light regarding Magdalene Roberts' death. We talked to a retired nurse who used to work at the Painscreek Community Hospital. Came across a note while cleaning Dr. Johnson's office. In it, Johnson stated that the prescription was lethal, and to be administered only to Magdalene. The dosage has to be precise or it will not work. They found this in 1995, but I found this note in the tea time clock, which means Mary Martinez put it there. A letter was made out to your wife, Vivian Roberts, according to the note. If you would like us to stop this investigation, please let us know at your earliest convenience. Otherwise, we will continue to find out the truth about Sophia's disappearance. Jason Beckard. February 3rd, 1996, so in the year after the murders. Charles Roberts, our investigation was initially promising. We interviewed possible witnesses who might know something about Sophia's disappearance. Months later, however, we are nowhere near knowing what happened to Sophia. We've searched through all the states for any possible trace, but to no avail. What we can conclude at this time is that the main cause of Sophia's disappearance has to do with Andrew, Henry, and Vivian. Now that they are gone, we are unable to get the truth about what really happened to Sophia. If you prefer, we can still continue the search. However, the results look bleak. We have posted rewards for any information regarding Sophia, hoping that it's just a matter of time before someone with real information steps up. For the time being, we suggest that you wait. Should anything emerge, you will be the first to know. Alright. November 18th, 1995. Months ago, right before Vivian was killed, I confronted her about Mom's death. She said she didn't know anything about it. She only administered the medicine as provided by Dr. Johnson. She was lying. I could see it in her eyes. She was scared, and she was hiding her fear. I know that Vivian was never completely truthful with me, but I still have no proof yet. She never liked Mom, but I wouldn't have thought her capable of killing her own mother-in-law. I know that she had something to do with what happened to Mom and Sophia, but what can I do? She was my wife, after all. And now. December 27th, 1995. Vivian is dead. So is Scott. Now Tricia is dead too. Is this my punishment for the affair I had 20 years ago? I mean, yeah, got a lot going on there, guy. Yeah, I'm not using you anymore. Okay, so just a few more details there at the end. But, yeah, I mean, like I said, I really enjoyed the experience. I am curious about, if there's any reason for me to, try to figure out, I'll look at the achievements and see what else I could have done. But yeah, a really enjoyable experience. And if you've managed to come all this way with me, or you came from elsewhere and ended up here, thanks for your time. Thanks for kind of playing along with me. And yeah, if anybody knows of any other games that are along these lines, just like walking simulators where there's an investigation and, it doesn't have to be so twisty and turny, but I love the feeling of discovery, of figuring out who these people were, of asking questions and being rewarded with answers to those questions. So this game really rewarded total engagement in a way that I feel a lot of games in general, like, they just try to beat you over the head with it because they know you're trying to rush through it and beat it as fast as possible. I do regret that patience and kind of misreading the game's cues led me to feel like I had to look for answers. But I felt pretty disciplined with how I used those answers, which, whatever. I'm not looking for my free time to be used in frustrating ways. I'm looking for it to be used in constructive ways, in ways that help me explore ideas and concepts and mechanics, and new ways of doing and seeing. So that I didn't know the order of the numbers on a padlock in like in the gallery, or that I didn't know that I was going to discover a picture later on of the roulette of the dartboard that would help me figure out the clue to the end of that puzzle. Like I really I don't think I think the frustration did more to take my enjoyment away than the purity of the experience of not having cheated and just have struggled my way through it and then have hated it by the end. Um, but yeah, okay. So I guess I'll end this right here. If there's anything else to share, I might film it. But otherwise, that's it for the Painscreek Killings. And I really look forward to this game company's next game, which is also investigation based, and looks to be like a series of cases. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it says it's like investigation something, crime scene investigation, something along those lines. But yeah, okay. Until next time, thanks guys, and take care out there.